Hey, Vikings fans. Ben Leber here at the 2020 NFL Combine in Indianapolis, and I've got my good friend here, Charles Davis. You guys have seen Charles Davis all over TV, whether it's Fox Sports NFL, calling games for Fox Sports, or
apologies to everyone.
or the NFL Network draft expert. Thanks so much for joining us. This is how many years for you here?
Oh my goodness, Ben. Let's see, 2006. So whatever that number is. Plus, I came here as a player, and they realized I wasn't very good, so that's the end of that. But yeah, since 2006, I've been here every year.
You've seen so much change, and we'll get into it a little bit with there are some new skill position changes as far as drill work and all that stuff goes. But just as I laid out, you do so much for football, both college and the NFL. When do you start preparing, and when do you start looking at these college guys as they are getting evaluated to play in the NFL?
I love that question. This gives me a great chance to not tell the truth, but I'm going to tell the truth. I watch some college games during the year because you know what it's like getting ready for an NFL game. If you're not working a college game, you get a chance to watch some, but not always, because if you're getting ready for an NFL game, you have meetings and other things. So I see, college football throughout the year. I try and do some reading on it. I always make myself a promise that during the season I'm going to, Wednesday nights I'm going to watch some college tape. That rarely happens because you're always getting ready for your NFL game. So for me, as soon as the NFL season ends, I've transitioned into trying to start to learn these kids. So this year our last game was, December 29th? And so December 30th, I was starting to work on college kids and try and get that down. When I was doing college football exclusively, this was almost a breeze. And what I mean by that is you're immersed, right? It's osmosis. You know what's out. Even if you didn't call their games, you know who these kids are. When you're calling the NFL, you got to work out a little bit harder, and I'm trying to work to catch up.
Yeah. You've had a chance. I've seen you on Sundays calling Vikings games, and you've had a lot of opportunities to call Vikings games, get pretty intimate with our organization. From a sort of a strengths and weaknesses standpoint, obviously we didn't end the season the way we wanted to. Now we finished in the upper echelon of the NFL. But how do you kind of evaluate the 2019 season for the Vikings?
Good in so many ways, but because there's one ultimate trophy and the way it ended in the playoffs, that's a big downer. And we always talk about windows opening, closing in this league. I think if you walked away from that playoff game, you're starting to wonder if the window's closing a little for the Vikings. I don't know that that's necessarily true, but when you end that way and San Francisco hammered them, that makes it feel that way. But then there's a lot of optimism that goes along with it, too. You get some guys back healthy. You add through the draft. You maybe pick up a couple key free agents. The foundation's there. The leadership's there with Mike Zimmer. I thought Kirk Cousins, who catches so much grief all the time, when you could every time you look back and go, he actually played pretty well. They ran the ball well with Dalvin Cook when he was healthy. And then, of course, the rookie out of Alexander Madison came in. I think there's a lot to like about this team. I think they'll continue to fortify both sides of the line. Yeah. Offense, defense. I think that's going to be big for them. Try and develop maybe somebody else out on the perimeter, take some pressure off. But all in all, the opportunity is still there with this team.
And I think, obviously, I'm going to echo a lot of the same things. I think this team is very close. And the one storyline that we have going on is we're really up against the cap. We don't have a lot of money to spend in free agency. But that's what makes this scouting combine so important, is that we not only are going to build and get some depth, but we need some guys that can play right now. And I want to bring up two guys to you because you've covered these guys, these guys. At pick number 25, obviously this draft can go a lot of different directions, but this team needs offensive line help, and this team needs possibly some corner help as well. I'll start with corner. Damon Arnett, he's a corner out of Ohio State that probably is going to be there. Sounds like, looking at all the mock drafts, is going to be a nice little run on corners before 25, and he might be a guy that's sitting there. What do you know about Damon Arnett?
Well, you got to remember at Ohio State, his running mate, Jeff Okudah, is being rumored to be the number 3 pick in the entire draft. I mean, there's so many mock drafts that have him going to Detroit that Damon Arnett got overlooked. But then you plug in the tape, and I've actually watched this tape. This kid is a aggressive press man type of a guy. He can play in zone and do the things that you would expect, but his forte is being aggressive, being physical, being in your face. He's similar to Xavier Rhodes that way. Not as big of a body, but similar in that type of mentality and style of play. And a toughness to him, because if you watch him all year long, he played with a cast on a broken left wrist and made plays, made a lot of plays. So I'm really high on Damon Arnett.
I love the fact that you mentioned the toughness, because when I watch him, fearless.
Absolutely.
He seems fearless.
Run game, pass game. How many times did you see him, Ben, when you see him trigger on a play and come up and make it? He was not a guy that just sat back and said, okay, you big guys take care of the run game. He was fully involved.
And he knew going into the games a lot of people were going to pick on him because of what was going on. He's the other corner. Now, as we look at possibilities for other guys, offensive line could be there. There's a guy to Iowa, very strong guy, Tristan Wirfs. What do you know about Tristan Wirfs?
Well, when you watch his tape, you will see times with him as a right tackle where he will cave in the left side of that line. Like when he down blocks that defensive line, he'll pick them off like bowling balls. Boom, boom. And there's a chain reaction to what he's doing. People move off the line of scrimmage when he comes out and run block. Shocking, an Iowa Hawkeye, right? So that's what he does well. I think he's got really good feet. I think he dances well in the open space, and watch him play. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he translates a lot like a former Iowa All-American tackle named Brandon Sheriff, who translated inside and became just a power guard that could make plays that way. Can he play tackle? I think he can.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question about it. Wouldn't be surprised with some teams, though. They might go, you know something? Let's move this big fella in at guard and let him beat people up that way. I'm really impressed with him.
Well, it's versatility, right? It seems like at every position, can a safety play in the box? Can he play over the top? Can a corner play outside? Can he play nickel? Can linebackers be safeties? Can they be linebackers? Versatility is the key to this game. And you know what? You're a versatile guy. You're in college football, all over the NFL. You can see Charles Davis on NFL Network throughout the whole week. NFL Network is going to have prime time coverage of the NFL Combine this year, and you're going to be all over that as well. You can find him on Twitter at CFD22. That's CFD22. Charles Davis, thanks, man.
Thank you, Ben. I'm going to keep trying to get better, too. Trust me.